Next one is Lawrence Krauss.
Yeah, our good friend Lawrence Krauss. He's kind of a curmudgeon as presented here, and I've seen interviews and debates, and he tends to be curmudgeon-y a bit. So Lawrence Krauss, again, takes the M theory, but however, he doesn't use the M theory. In fact, Krauss is not keen on any form of string theory. Rather, he uses good old-fashioned quantum field theory. So again, our biggest problem with Krauss is he says, nothing produced everything, but then when you drill down and you figure out that, well, he's using the term nothing for us plebes down here at the base of reality who don't understand when scientists say nothing, they actually mean something. He means when he says nothing, he means empty space. So all life in the universe arose from this empty space. All planets, all light, everything came about from this empty space. So he even says when I want to be clear about what kind of nothing I'm discussing at the moment. This is the simplest version of nothing, namely empty space. Now me, and I'm a plebe here. The simplest version of nothing is nothing.
and right. So that's it. So nothing is nothing, right? So
Right.
if the simplest version is nothing, then the question is then what is he gives us something. It's empty space.
Right. He jumpstarts his own thing. It's you wake up and all of a sudden life is here.
Right.
So Stokes goes on to say that empty space isn't nothing, clearly.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get the curmudgeon Krauss here. He says, once again, I realize that those who wish to continually redefine the word so that no scientific definition is practical, a.k.a. you want accuracy in your definitions, this version of nothing, empty space, doesn't cut the mustard. And he goes on to blame Plato and Aquinas as well. But so, again, utilizing the word nothing, it reads, it's kind of like reading the headline of news articles and assuming that you got it.
Right.
Did the Boston bomber get radicalized through the watching of Sesame Street? And then you're like, oh, he must have gotten radicalized through the messages of Sesame Street, and you read the article. It's like no actual radicalization was found, but they put a question mark on the end of it.
Right. So it's up for it's up for the debate.
It's well, at least people were discussing it, so it's a possibility. So we should pull our children away from Sesame Street.
Yeah. So empty space is something, right? What is empty space?
Yeah. It at the very least, you have to say it has is curved. It contains energy. It's expanding. It has properties. Is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So when Krauss refers back to saying, well, even Plato had that type of thing. For Plato, space was something as well, and indeed something really strange.
So empty space is more than just nothing. Empty space has properties. Empty space is expanding. Empty space curves, right? It contains energy. It's more than just nothing.
Right.
So,
in fact, it doesn't even approximate nothing, is what he says. Right. I mean, and no one would say that. You would say, how did that cake get there? That's in my fridge. Well, it came from nothing. Oh, okay, so it just appeared there and on the platter? Well, no, there was this bowl, and then things just started to fly in from it out of nowhere. Well, hold on. You're talking about a bowl. Where'd the bowl come from? Well, you need the bowl there because that's what contains everything.
Because space contains it.
Yeah, I understand. That, but there are it's made of glass and is able to be baked at a certain temperature. Again, the empty universe is this kind of shell container, but it still has properties. So he goes to say that the lesson's clear. This is Krauss. Quantum gravity not only appears to allow the universe to be created from nothing, meaning in this case, I emphasize the absence of space and time, it may require them. Nothing in this case, no space, no time, no anything, is unstable. Then he says, notice how that even goes beyond any existing quantum field theory to a theory of quantum gravity, something that quantum field theory cannot yet provide. So again, this is the issue with the quantum field theories, is they tend to make bigger claims than what they're able to prove.
And you still get the law issue, the law problem, the
Right.
law question, right?
Yeah.
Where are these laws that are doing these things come from, right?
Yeah. So then he goes on to talk about where the laws came from, and David Albert, a philosopher of physics, kind of comes back against Krauss on this and says, what if he were in a position to announce, for instance, that the truth of quantum mechanics laws can be traced back to the fact that the world has some other deeper property X? Wouldn't we still be in a position to ask why X rather than Y? And is there at last such question? Is there some point at which the possibility of asking any further such questions somehow definitively come to an end? How would that work? What would that look like? So he's still having to come to grips with these, as Hawkins did, these meta laws. So why is the universe curved? Why does it contain these things? Why is it able to expand? So he's still frustrating the question.
Yeah, and so the real issue then is, what do laws do?
Right.
Or what can they do? Or what do they allow for? Right.
Laws tell us how the elementary stuff of the universe is arranged, how it got there. As the laws of physics simply tell us how the universe behaves, not how it was born. So that's the issue.
So laws have nothing to do with their own origin,
right,
or the origin of anything.
The speed limit. Why is the speed limit there? Well, it's to make sure that people don't go so fast, and they've determined that these turns on these roads, a vehicle can take it at this amount. Well, but no, like, why are they there? Ultimately, how did they get there? At what point? Oh, okay. Well, these lawmakers came about.
Yeah. Again, laws cannot explain themselves.
Right.
Laws tell us how things are, working and operating, and how they, that sort of thing. But they don't explain themselves.
Right. It's one of the really good points in Lyell's book, Ultimate Proof of Creation, where he talks about DNA and how DNA is information. And there you have, life arises out of life because, here's the information. It changes over time, and small changes produce this. But go back to the original. What do you mean information? Why is there information? And information in any other regard is a sign of intelligence that directs that information. Because if it's just random things bumping into each other, we wouldn't call ping pong balls in an air vacuum that bounce around as
information.
As informational. But if someone were to manipulate the ping pong balls so that they all went in a straight line, and then their movement looked like a circle, we would say, oh, that's odd, and that's clearly had to come from someone. So again, it's all pointing back to even more, I think, the possibility of the existence of a lawmaker. So he says, would we have an explanation for why there's something rather than nothing? Unfortunately, no. We'd still have a problem of why there is an eternal bounding universe rather than nothing at all. To put more provocatively, the question of why there's something rather than nothing simply isn't a scientific question at all. Maybe it's a philosophical one.
Yeah, so the question is, all right, fine, let's assume that the universe has always been here. Okay, fine. Now the next question then is, why is there something rather than nothing?
Right. Again, it's not the what. Like going back to the billiard balls, sometimes we say, oh, why did that happen? We say, oh, the one billiard ball pushed against the other one. That tends to be the what. We're asking the why does it do that? Why do the objects in motion affect each other? And kind of the more basic question.
Why is the universe here?
Right.
Well, it's just here.
To move the billiard balls.
Yeah, right. So rather than simply, it's not it's that, and that now we're getting into philosophy when we start asking those types of questions.
Mm-hmm, right.
We're no longer, technically, physics. We're getting into philosophical questions, right?